Hey guys, JJ here, and today we may have some big news for the upcoming Resident Evil 9, including the main characters, setting, plot, enemies, and much more. So with that being said, let's get right into it. With the ongoing success of the Resident Evil series, it's no surprise that Capcom would be well underway on the next mainline title in the series, Resident Evil 9. Although news has been quiet lately, it was only a matter of time until leaks and rumors started to appear online, and this one could potentially be the biggest one yet. This comes from our good friend Andy over at Biohazard Declassified. This information comes from a source who claims to have play-tested an early build of the game. Before we get into the details, it should be noted that everything you are about to hear is currently a rumor until proven otherwise officially by Capcom. It should also be noted that Andy has had credible sources in the past, so if that's the case here, then there may be some big spoilers ahead. So here's your warning. There's actually so much information here, I'm going to highlight the main points. If you would like to hear the rest of the information provided from the source, let me know in the comments and I'll make a follow-up video. Trust me, there's a lot more. Alright, let's get into it. According to the information, Resident Evil 9 will take place 4 years after the events of Resident Evil Village. And no, not the Shadows of Rose DLC, the main game itself. Fan favorites Leon S. Kennedy and Jill Valentine will be returning as the main characters. This will be the first time the two have teamed up together in a Resident Evil game. They were seen together in the CG movie Death Island, and they seem to work really well together. Chris Redfield and Barry Burton will also return, but this time as supporting characters that will communicate with the player through radio calls. I'm not gonna lie, if this is true, I'm pretty damn excited to hear that Barry is making a return to the series. Maybe he can pick us up in the helicopter at the end. Jill will be dressed more tactical, similar to her outfit in Resident Evil 5 Lost in Nightmares, while Leon will appear similar to his look in Resident Evil Damnation. Jill will still look the same as she did in Resident Evil Death Island, whereas Leon will look much older with an unshaven face and slightly longer hair. Now let's move on to the setting and plot of the game. The plot revolves around Jill from BSAA and Leon from DSO, who go to an island to investigate the company that created Evelyn in Resident Evil 7, who are now creating mass clones of the biological weapon Evelyn with the mutamycete provided by Miranda in Resident Evil Village. This is actually pretty fitting with the end of Village. We knew that the BSAA were working on their own semi-intelligent BOWs. When extracting the model from the game, it was realized that it was the same model as Chris Redfield. Clones aren't something new to the Resident Evil series, and it does make sense that there would be further experimentation with the mutamycete. Chris Redfield and Barry Burton will call Jill and Leon several times to help them during their mission. Rosemary Winters will also be mentioned by Chris during one of the calls. Chris will also suggest that they use Rose's blood to create a vaccine against the mutamycete to save the island residents. This would make sense as to why Chris Redfield would want to keep Rose in his care. Jill and Leon will be infected by the mutamycete and will hallucinate and hear Evelyn's voices during the game. Blue Umbrella will return as the Good Company and will be helping the BSAA and the DSO with this investigation. The island's facility consists of an abandoned hospital, caves, abandoned houses, villagers' houses, dark forests, abandoned factory, laboratories, and a temple. Now let's move on to the enemies. The game's main enemy will be an evolved zombie who resides on the island. They can run and use a variety of melee weapons like knives and axes, which sound very similar to the Ganados in Resident Evil 4. Those infected by the mold worship the moon at night and have moon tattoos on their arms. They can be heard singing to the moon while looking at the sea. This information seems to align with the earlier rumors and leaks I've covered in the past. If you'd like to check those out, I'll have a playlist linked below. There will be a stalker enemy that will pursue Leon through the game. On the other hand, Jill will be chased by the Goat Man. This sounds a lot like Resident Evil 4. The main villain's name is Mr. Simon, and he is a completely new character who supervises the mass production of biological weapons. He has a dark past and suffers from psychological trauma from his childhood. Some closing statements made by the source include, playtests were held in April and September in Japan. The April test featured Jill in an abandoned hospital, while the September test included Leon in the forest. It is confirmed that Resident Evil 9 will continue the storyline from Resident Evil 7 and Village, concluding the Megamycete plot with Evelyn's origin. Lastly, the source will have more details and updates soon, so stay tuned. So there you have it. That's a lot to take take in and process. The story seems to align well with the Resident Evil 7 and Village storyline. Capcom confirmed the end of the Winters family saga, but hasn't suggested closing off the established lore. Some of this information sounds great. The team up of Leon and Jill, the return of Barry Burton, even if he is a supporting character. I also really like the setting taking place on an island. Other information I'm a bit hesitant on, such as the cloned enemies. It's not a territory that Capcom hasn't gone before, and it makes sense. It's just something I was hoping to not see them revisit. With the drought of official news lately, it is interesting to hear these rumors and speculate on what could be. It gets the hype train moving again, at least for me. Regardless, I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 9 and can't wait to see what Capcom has planned for the future of the series. But now I'm curious to know your thoughts. Are you excited for Resident Evil 9? What do you think about Jill and Leon teaming up? What do you think about the plot continuing off what was established in 7 and Village? What would you like to see in Resident Evil 9? Let us know in the comments and let's have a discussion about it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and for all the latest Resident Evil 9 news, leaks, and rumors, make sure to subscribe. The Residents of Evil is a Patreon supported channel and also supported by our YouTube members. So if you'd like to become a member and unlock access to custom badges, emojis, and exclusive live streams, click that join button down below. You can join our survival horror community on Discord, link will be in the description, and I have the Duke here to tell you a little about our sponsor, G Fuel.
Do you have need of anything for the road ahead? The Residents of Evil has expanded its services. Perhaps you're in need of a little pick-me-up. I recommend the G Fuel. You can even get a fair discount if you use the code ROE upon purchase. And as always, we thank you for your patronage, stranger.
As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope to see you back at the Residents of Evil.